Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. We're back for part 46 today, and we start not with championship action, but with the FA Cup. We reached the quarter-final after a wonderful victory against Arsenal a couple of episodes ago, and a follow-up one against slightly easier opponents in the last round. But now it's a big chance. We've got Diego Simeone's side in the quarter-final. They're an Everton team that are very good and very established, and I'd imagine it's going to be quite difficult for us. We'll also try and get to the Huddersfield game after the international break. We'll see if there's any other stuff in the meantime, such as a youth intake. But look at the playoff mix. It's right in our hands now. 2 points behind Derby in 6th. Best goal difference of any of the other teams chasing. We are looking really good. The top two are gone away, but we've got a chance at 6th. Let's go for it. Let's see if we can get in the playoffs. If you're looking forward to the end of the season, the biggest new manager impact we've ever had in this save, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. This one will be back in 2 days' time. We're going to have one hell of an end to the season. And if that wasn't enough, we've got a transfer special in a Hemel Hempstead save tomorrow. And it is, as you may have seen from yesterday's season review, going to be one of the biggest overhauls I've probably ever had in any of our saves. I would imagine nothing less than 10 to 15 players coming in. I'd certainly imagine the same numbers going out. It's basically overhaul time in that save. If you want to stay up to date with that one or any of the other stuff on the channel, please do click in the eye above to do so. The last episode of the Cricket 22 series was earlier this morning. You can see that one up there, as well as the Twitch channel for regular live streams and the football podcast too. But a massive thank you for your support, as we've just got to reflect on the one game off camera this time. We played Derby and Sheffield United last time out. We beat Stoke in the game off camera by the skin of our teeth. Carl and Grant got 2 goals for them, but the latter was just a consolation. Lys Mousset scored the opener, Kalantari too. But it wasn't all positive from that game, because you'll notice the injury mark next to Lys Mousset. You may have noticed it on the previous screen. He is going to be out, or was out from that game for 3 to 4 weeks. Now, the positive is there's no game for 2 weeks after this. He's got a chance to get fit again, but it's not ideal. He's 31 years of age. He's not the sort of player who can come back from injuries time and time again. And more importantly than that, he's been a blooming superstar for us since he came in. Luka Ilic is just returning for injury, so 1 in, 1 out, I guess, on that front. And Nathaniel Chalobah is back, and back to full strength too. So let's go and get into the first of today's 2 games. There is no point holding things up. The dynamics are great. The staffing team is still improving. More the backroom staff now rather than those in the forefront. And we've got a chance to get near the playoffs. We're not going to worry about that today though. We do know that Middlesbrough or Derby are going to drop points because they're in 4th and 6th respectively. Luton and Sheffield United in 7th and 8th playing each other too, which is massive for us. But we've got to focus on a different competition. FA Cup quarter-final against Everton. Look at the players they've got. And to be fair, I'd argue they're resting a few as well. There are some quality players in the team, but it's not completely full strength. And if we can be at our best, if we can get everyone fit, maybe we've got a chance. We did rest a few for the Stoke game, I won't lie to you. It's a 52,000 sellout, which will help the finances further, give the director of football more to spend in the summer. Now let's see what lineup he's picked for today. The back 5 I agree with. The midfield 3, maybe. Kjaer's just dropped off recently, so we'll leave him out for now. And then Lestrange, Thompson, Kalantari. It's the 11 I'd pick, given the restraints at the moment, because we are missing Mousset on the right, and Kjaer's been in poorer form. The bench, though, is something I do disagree with. You know I don't like a goalkeeper there. I would have put Vokins in, because he's pretty good too. We'll take out Joe Rothwell there because Kjaer and Roberto will be our 2. And then Greenwood and Ilic, returning from injury, will be our front 2 on the bench. So this is the side we're going for. It's Griffiths between the sticks, Darboe and Bryan the fullbacks, Atkinson alongside Muller at centre-half, Amos, Williams, Chalobah, the 3 that we were looking forward to seeing play together when we got here. They've barely done so since, but they are together for the FA Cup quarter-final. Lestrange, Thompson, Kalantari make up the front 3. Now, can we shock another Premier League side? Or away from home, will this be a bridge too far? Let's go and find out. Well, one of the immediate things I noticed is it's virtually all change at Everton. Ismail Assar, Iwobi's still there, Godfrey's still there and is now skipper, but Freddie Woodman, Zeki Selik at right back, Balde left back, Onyeka, Doyle, Harrison, lot of change in that squad. Even on the bench, the likes of Dahlberg, Alcacer, is very different players to what we're used to. They've made 5 changes to their lineup. We've made 6 from the Stoke game in midweek. Now let's see if it pays off. Simeone, one of the managerial greats, but he does like to frustrate teams. He does like to time waste. We're going to be trying to do the same back. Let's see who comes out on top of it. That is a massive new stadium that Everton have got themselves there. They've got a lot of quality and pace in behind, but we'd like to think the same about ourselves. Now let's go and see if it pays off. Strong wind might affect some of our long balls. 11 degrees, typical British springtime, that one. As Griffiths picks the ball up to Muller, to Amos. And of course, it is an international break after, so we can let these lads play 90, even if they've got a heavy match load. What we don't want is them playing 120, as Onyeka. Back in again, Basal finds it out to Doyle, to Rodriguez. And it's back in again. Balde overlapping on the left. We're really struggling to contain them early doors. Balde crosses Muller away. Thompson can hoof downfield. Kalantari won't get there though. And it's another wave of Everton attacks. Godfrey on halfway to Onyeka. Great ball to Rodriguez. In he goes. Off the top of the bar and over. It is Horatio Rodriguez, not James, for those who are wondering from pre-save. But it's in the young regen who is absolutely class and electric quick too. Probably one of the best young players in the world, looking at him. As Doyle to Onyeka, 25 yards out, wide to Selic. Back to the edge of the box again. Everton all over us with 20 minutes gone. Selic gets towards the byline. Chance to cross. Sarr's in. He's hit the post somehow. I can't tell you how that's not gone in, but we've survived it. And with a quarter gone, there's still officially no shots on target. It is Everton coming forward again though. Brian wins it back to Atkinson. Into Joe Williams. Up to Kalantari. To Lestrange, 2 runners there, but forced back inside to Amos, to Muller. He goes into Lestrange in midfield. We are a little deep at the moment, but if someone can make that run in behind, we're going to have an absolute field day. Shalabar looks for it. Lestrange makes the run. What a time it would be to counter and score. Into Kalantari. Oh, wonderful save, Woodman. I'm not sure how much he knew about it, but got a leg to tip it wide. It's brilliant work. And Brian will take the corner into the back post. Basal wins the header. It's gone as far as Kalantari. I think that might be it. But with 26 gone, we've had our first proper chance. And we're keeping the ball a bit better too. Everton 0, Bristol City 0. And again, we're not being outclassed. Though it is an Everton corner as they continue their waves of attack. Good save, Griffiths. Rodriguez back to Jack Harrison. On the left-hand side, into Rodriguez. Back to Harrison, to Iwobi. Shalabar with a challenge. Drops down to Rodriguez. 4th time lucky, I think. We'll see if there's a flag. There's not. There's no VAR check. There's nothing else. It is 1-0 Everton. It's just about deserved. But we've put up a fight. And the manner of the goal was unfortunate. Even if not the fact we've conceded. As we head into 1 minute of first half stoppage time, it's another Everton corner. And a second goal, I was about to say, would be so crucial at this point. And it is. It's probably game over now on the stroke of the break. And any subs we could make, any tactical tweaks, they won't be good enough. Everton at home just been too strong. I didn't realise that was Tommy Boyle, the man who we had on loan. Was it at Cliftonville in FM20? I think we had him in that little mini Build a Nation we did. Tommy Doyle, an absolutely super player. You have a look at him. He's become a very solid one too. As we've got a free kick early in the second half. Deep into Everton territory here. Amos picks it up, finds Williams. Wide to Lestrange. Can we see him open his legs? He goes for it here, in behind on the 1-2. Oh! Tried to get it across to Thompson with a low drilled one. Actually deflected off the Everton player onto the near post. And then behind for a corner kick, which Brian will take. To the back stick, Iwobi heads clear. Kalantari will get there on the left wing. Now can we get it into the box? Doesn't look like it. Coming up towards the hour mark. It is 2-0. It is comfortable. And at this point, I think we have to be careful because Shalabar is just back from injury. He's on a yellow card. We need to look after him. Thompson's knackered and been the worst player on the pitch. And Kalantari's got a knock. So let's play safe here because what are we going to gain out of it realistically? Shalabar will be replaced by Roberto. Ilic will come on for Kalantari. Greenwood will come on for Thompson. And I'm just deciding which one will play up front. Ilic, not got that bursting pace, can't really finish. He is a very good player and he's not quite as strong in the air. I'm going to go for it, you know. We're going to put Greenwood up front and I'm going to put Ilic on the left wing. Just because I want the quicker focal point up top. Let's see if Greenwood can deliver that. Half an hour to go. Anything less than 3 is fine. If we can keep it 2-0, it's been a decent performance. Because, let's be honest, we've been outclassed. Well, 5 to go. The subs have sort of taken the sting out of the game. The likes of Doyle, Iwobi, Sarr have come off. Alcacer among those who have come on. Everton finished the game with 20 shots. We've only had 2 on target. We didn't deserve anything out of that. But we defended all right. We got a decent result. 2-0 is not a disaster against an established Premier League team. But we've just realised that if we do go up next year, there's going to be a lot of work to do, particularly on the road. But we've got to focus on the playoff push first. How can we talk about promotion or potential promotion when we've not even been in the top 6 all season? That's going to be the next question. We've got 2 weeks international break. Then we've got Huddersfield. A bottom half side we should be beating. Let's go and see if we can do it. We'll be back in a minute. Well, another weekend of championship results, taking aside our FA Cup performance, that have shown why this is so hard to predict. Derby have gone up to 4th with a 3-1 win at Middlesbrough, who dropped to 5th. Sheffield United have beaten Luton to go 6th. Luton dropped to 8th. And Swansea sandwiched in between them in 7th place. Reading 3rd with 2 games in hand. You've got to predict them to be the most likely side, perhaps, to be in the playoffs. But the fact we're even talking about this after the position we joined them in and what we were expected to achieve is remarkable. Yes, we've inherited a brilliant squad, plenty of exciting players, but we've got to be proud. We have done so well, and now we've got an outside sniff at the playoffs. Any other news? I was just seeing if there was any injury news on Kalantari, because he did go off with a slight knock, but no harm done there. Excellent work. Has it boosted the finances? It's a bit hard to tell at the moment, really, because we're losing money each month. Let's have a look at the income to see what the gate receipts are like. Oh, yeah. Look, up to 1.83 million this month, was 1 million last month. So we've made an extra 800 grand, which should reduce this month's loss. Excellent stuff all round. Let's crack on with the international break. Well, how about this? We're back the very next day with big news items. And let's hope it's an exciting one as well. Because we have got, you can see the next message there, a new intake of youth players announced. I haven't looked at the message yet. We haven't opened it. Are they going to be any good? Let's find out. It's not a disaster if they're not, because we're not going to be here for the long term. It's not a one club story. And we've got a very good squad anyway. But if we could see 1 or 2 brilliant players, we're never going to turn that down. Let's have a glance at the youth intake. Cross your fingers. Is it going to be good? We wait. It is below average, but I would not argue that that's below average. I would say that is a rubbish youth intake with 1 sublime player. Aaron Ballard, 1.5 star ability, 4.5 potential, deep line playmaker in a defensive midfield role. Now, with Kajar retiring in the summer with older players, we're struggling in that position a bit. And this guy looks pretty good. Got all the great attributes mentally. He's got a good personality. He's left-footed, which adds a nice bit of balance. He's also hard-working. He's great for the team. He's got a good first touch and technique, decent tackler and passer, and naturally fit. He's 6 foot already, despite his jumping reach being poor. I think we've got a gem there. If we can get ourselves into a comfortable position, I'll try and get him involved. But next season, he'll be part of the first team training squad. I can assure you of that. Will Curtis is the next best. Not the worst. Poor personality, but might make it as a National League or League 2 player. The rest of it is almost utter dross. But there's one player randomly with 1.5 star ability and not much potential, which is Mark Woods, a number 10. Wow! Hang on a minute. Now, how can his potential be that low? We know dynamic potentials in FM22. Surely we have to make this kid work, because he looks brilliant. He's not a million miles away from some of our backup players now. Mark Woods, for me, this is a better than poor youth intake. If this is below average for them, then I want to be here forever. Because for me, as well as having the superstar in the holding role that's got massive potential, we've got Mark Woods, who I think is going to be involved. So 2 very good youngsters to keep an eye on, and 2 that will be in the first team squad next year. Let's move ahead to Huddersfield though. Probably be too early for them, that one. We are back to face Huddersfield. We have not got Lys Mousset fit. And there's a little bit more news off the pitch, and it's the first time I've probably been a little underwhelmed or surprised by what's happened. It's a little bit weird because the coaches that have come in are Josh Coulson as under-23 manager from Lincoln, who I don't really understand. He's not that good. He's not a great manager, he's a coach, and he's not a very good coach anyway. So it seems to have been signed purely on his personality, or maybe a relationship with Jez George. They've come from the same club. The second one is Sami Al-Abd, who's come from Connors Quay that he left last year. And we had him at Dorking Wanderers in that save a couple of years back. What is weird though is, again, great motivator, good people management, nothing else. He is an assistant manager naturally, which helps, but very strange that we've got two coaches in who are so far below the standard of everyone else. But I feel the Coulson one was just a mate's favour from Jez George. For us though, we're 4 points off the playoffs. Sheffield United are beating Borough at the minute to close that gap yet further between the sides between 3rd and 10th. We've also got Reading 2-1 up against Preston. I think they're home and dry now. And the other ones up there, Derby County 1-0 down at home to bottom side Forest Green at the minute, with Swansea beating Sunderland and Luton Town heading away to Cardiff. So let's go and get into the Huddersfield game, see what side we can put out. And we should be in a better position of the two, because we've not got many international footballers. You can see there's a lot of light match loads there, and other clubs have got a very heavy one. So we are going to stick with the 11 that played against Everton. I don't think there's a need to make any change to the squad. So let's head straight in, see if we can get the result that can lift us right back into the playoff mix, and maybe even just 1 point behind 6th. As it's 3 changes for a Huddersfield side that have got some very good players in there. The likes of Vale and Perkins going forward. John Joe Kenny's in there at right back. Adam Davis in goal. Noan Kene seems to pop up in loads of our saves. He is on the substitutes bench. Josh Karoma, Ryan Allsop's there as well. Started a live stream series with Derby. But they're a pretty good side. They're a mid-table side. They've not got much to play for. Only pride. We're going to ask our lads to prove a point. Try and get in the playoff mix. And what we haven't yet seen from this team, because we haven't been in a position for it, is what happens when they're under pressure. As we're heading away an early attacking set piece for Huddersfield, Franco picks it up on the right. Are we going to crumble once we get into that mix? It looks like it, because in the second minute, Harvey Vale has given Huddersfield the lead. From the edge of the box, there was no real pressure on him. The goalkeeper didn't make a great attempt to save it. And we're going to go and berate the lads, because the first shot on target is a goal. And Huddersfield have started very well. And now we're going to go down to 10. And Joe Williams, who I've given a chance to get into the first team here, has absolutely ruined it for us. And now Simon Kjaer will be first choice for the rest of the season. There is no doubt about that. I don't know what to do shape-wise. I think I'm going to have to play with just 2 in the middle. And we'll put Amos up as box-to-box, which he's done before, but I'm utterly furious at that. We're going to change Chalobah to a defensive duty, and Joe Williams, that is the end of his days in the first 11. They weren't long-lived anyway under my management. As it's a corner kick for Huddersfield again, this game could really get away from us here. Oh, they've hit the bar from a front post corner, and thankfully it's out for a goal kick. But 1-0 down, 1 man down. This is a sort of day where if you can nick a result, you really start to believe, because Derby have equalised now, and we're in dire straits as Chalobah picks it up in midfield to Joe Bryan. Up towards Thompson, who loses out in the air. And look at the counter. Not having that anchor man is such a difference maker. Though Kalantari wins it for Thompson to Lestrange. Right side of the box, still 4 committed forward. Kalantari shot blocked and it's away. But we are creating a couple of chances still. We're not disastrous. I just can't bank on us not to concede again, because we've not got anyone protecting the back 4. And that back 4 is aging in parts. 5 minutes to the break though, it's stayed 1. They've not had a whole host of chances, Huddersfield, and no highlights for clear-cut ones. But here they come with Harvey Vale the scorer. Franco in. Atkinson heads up more than away. Franco puts it in again, and Thea Beamer heads wide. But I don't see how we get the result. We need to rely on other games going in our favour, and at the moment, I don't see how it happens. The only positive is we've got 3 home games in a row after this. We play a couple of the bottom sides in that. But it doesn't bode well. And the fact that we're not able to get the goal, despite having odd chances here, is only going to harm us yet further when we're chasing the game at the end with tired legs. As Griffiths goes for a long kick towards Kalantari. Loses out in the air and it falls for Fossum. Trauner to Franco. Chips forward. They've got an extra man up. It's a poor mistake from Muller. Thea Beamer's shot's blocked. Well done from Atkinson. To Perkins. Into the bottom corner. And it's 2 long-range strikes. You've got to say that. They've not created many clear-cut chances. They've scored 2 very good long-distance efforts. And Sam Greenwood will now replace Thompson. Amos will be replaced by, I think, Sergi Roberto. We're just going to try and see it out as Atkinson has got in with a very big header there. Maybe it's not game over. Darboe and Muller playing poorly. Is there any option to replace them? I think Darboe will be replaced by Venegas. And we've got to throw down the left wing. Can we sneak a point? It would be a fabulous result. As Greenwood on the left to Shalabar. Greenwood again. It would certainly show the spirit of the team, although Shalabar's given that away is so poor. Fiabima can counter. Who's that chasing back? It's Sergi Roberto. Not quite got the legs these days. Does hold his man up though. In towards Perkins. Header hits the far post. He did everything right apart from putting it in the net. It was very close, but not quite. Swansea and Derby both winning. We're falling away today. And maybe when it matters most, the playoff push is going to falter. We're going to encourage the lads because they've done so well with 10 men. But we've been let down by Joe Williams. And that means Kajart will be back in. As Shalabar gives it to Sergi Roberto and Muller. Atkinson. Please let me nick one. Muller to Roberto, to Lestrange. Kalantari's been quiet today. Can we find him? Lestrange to the byline. Into Kalantari. Oh, it does not matter if we play 85 minutes with 10 men. It does not matter if we concede in the second minute. Because this side has an unbreakable spirit. And for some reason, since we've come here, they've virtually become unbeatable. Certainly against championship teams anyway. We've got to be careful because we could go on to lose this yet. Koroma gets down the left. Don't do it from the kickoff. Good challenge, Joe Bryan. The experience, the quality, the defensive positioning is key. And although we've gone gun-ho to try and nick this, oh my word, we nearly got in behind. Shalabar to Venegas, to Lestrange. It might get even better. Down the right, goes back to Venegas. Up to him again. John Lestrange to the byline. Kalantari and Greenwood in the middle. But the cross is blocked to Venegas. Finds Shalabar in space. Wide to Joe Bryan at left back. He's got a chance to play down the line, but his man's cut in. Bryan to the byline. Into the back post. Oh, it was missed. And Lestrange had the freedom of the goal. But he rattles the woodwork. Into stoppage time. And I mean, looking at those stats, we perhaps should take encouragement for this. Yes, it's 2 drop points, but after falling behind with 88 minutes to go and with half an hour to go, and after playing 85 minutes plus 5 minutes stoppage time with 10 men, we've still come out of this with a draw and matched Huddersfield on virtually all the stats. So Joe Williams the letdown, but that's a fabulous effort. The 10 that were left and the 3 that came on have done this club a huge amount of credit. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back, but we're very much still in the race. What a comeback. Well, a 2-match ban for Williams, which I think suggests he's had one already, must have been before we joined. Dismissed for a bad tackle and the referee's decision was right. And it's probably going to be extended when a disciplinary panel meets. So for him, with 5 games to go, it might actually be the end of the season. 6 games left, sorry. We've got Fulham, Swansea and Forest Green at home. Swansea are in the mix with us. So Forest Green are bottom of the league and Fulham have been poor this season. Cardiff, Blackpool and Borough are the 3 final games. We're either going to show the final 2 or final 3, depending on how things are going. We did late on sneak back up to 8th place due to another result, but that gap's 5 points with 1 game in hand, and that game in hand's against a good Fulham side, who, despite having a poor year, are only 3 points behind us. They'll fancy their chances. If you did enjoy this episode though, a wonderful effort with 10 men against a good championship side, and a decent performance defensively in the FA Cup. Please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments what you think of those weird coaching appointments. Is it just jobs for the boys, Jed George helping out his old mate? And what do you think of the youth intake? For me, 2 absolute superstars there. And with Joe Williams suspended, 1 or 2 might get on the bench before the end of the season. We'll be back for the last few games. I hope you're coming to join me for it. If you want to stay up to date and make sure you don't miss anything, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Transfer special time from Hemel Hempstead tomorrow. That will be live at 3:30. And of course, you can find a football podcast, the last episode of the Cricket 22 series from earlier, and the live streams on Twitch up in the eye above too. Thank you for watching and joining me as always. A happy new year. Our first episode of 2022 of the Head Coach. And it seems to be just as eventful as it was at the end of last year. I'll see you next time to find out if that continues.